gentleman right here. By the way, the chocolate that I just had, if I didn't mention, that's the doe. I think I mentioned that, but I just want to make sure. This little guy right here, remember the first litter that we got after we got Tag Along? Now I know there should be some of you that actually follow the channel close enough. You know what I'm talking about. The little guy, we got Tag Along. I bred her right away. Because Iris was open right away after we got Tag, and after he has been here through quarantine and what have you. Now this little guy has been living next to a cage full of bucks. Okay, now most of those bucks have been removed and culled out and what have you, but there's one buck left. And see this rusty looking fur? This is poor fur naturally, but it's nothing genetic. What this is he's been peed on by his neighbors. But this is Tag Along's son. This rabbit's mama is Iris. For those of you that follow along in our rabbit genetics little course, whatever you want to call it, it means that he is a guaranteed carrier because his mama's a solid blue. He is a guaranteed carrier to carry dilute. Okay? And that's what we wanted because Tag Along does not carry dilute. He is homozygous for non-dilute, and that's not what we love the blues around here, and lilacs when we can get them. We'll get to that. We've bred lilacs, but I don't have a definite, a dedicated lilac line as of right now. But we'll work on the blue, and then the lilac will come. That's why we keep the chocolates around, because chocolate is not that self chocolate is not that outrageously popular, but the lilac that chocolate can become is very popular. So anyway, this little guy here, he is, let me see, when were you born, buddy? He was born in February, and he's not a proven buck yet, but he's getting ready to be. I haven't decided which. In fact, it could end up being both. Tag and Iris, which makes him a perfect candidate for the two does that I have around the back. I have Delilah and I have Taffy. That makes him a perfect candidate because he is completely unrelated to those two does. And that's a way that I can take and mix Tag Along and Iris's genetics and mix them with Blueberry's genetics. Okay? And of course, it'd be Twix and Hershey's genetics back there as well. So, which, if I keep the chocolate dough out of Hershey, it could be that we could consider letting Delilah go. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. I usually like to breed them at least one time before I let them go, if I keep them until breeding age, because if you keep a rabbit till breeding age, the first thing somebody's going to ask you when they're interested is she proven? Is she a good mama? So on, want to know about her mothering abilities and what have you. And if I haven't bred her, I don't like when I ask a question, somebody tells me I don't know. That's kind of frustrating. You can't help it if somebody doesn't know, but I like to breed them at least once, I think, and that way I could tell. But this little guy here, let's see if we can get him to sit up here for us. This is come on, will you be back here? He doesn't have quite the depth that I would like for him to have, and he is just a tad long in body. Okay? But with what I plan to use him for, we're going to shorten that body up. Now he's not outrageously bad. He is a tad long in body. The shoulders, I would like to see a little more depth. The shoulder there, but it's not outrageously bad. I'd like to see more overall depth on him. But see, he's got a nice loin, nice thick wide meaty loin. He's got a nice rounded hind quarter. See, not pinched at all. He's just what I would expect out of a pairing from Tag and Iris. But now look at this guy. Okay, I haven't had him on the scales. My scales tore up. I haven't had him on the scales, but he was about 3.5 months old. Let's see, what month is this? 8th month or not? 7th month?
7th.
Okay, so he's pushing 6 months old. Okay, when he was about 3.5 months old, he only weighed 2 pounds and 12 ounces. So if you've heard me say in the past something about I have had breeding stock that has flirted with the upper threshold for weight, and I have had a lot of my breeders that would actually be too heavy to be considered for show or for registration, and well, Iris is very small, and she passed that size. You know, both of them both Tag and Iris are very nice in type, and they both passed some nice type over to this guy. But look at these ears. Nice thick furry ears. These are tag-along ears. Okay. They still need to be I still like to see them just a tad shorter, but I use a gauge by my finger. I've got many wrecks that their ears come clear up to here. Okay, so to start having youngsters come out of litters with ears down to here, hey, what did I say about continuous improvement? Rome wasn't built in a day, but this is an improvement over 6 months ago or a year ago. If every generation you're improving something, well, you're going in the right direction. Okay, this guy here, he keeps pulling them feet up. Yeah, see, he's just a little bit. If you find to make him look right in depth, you have to over tuck those back feet. Chances are he's long in body, and that's what it is. See these feet? See how they're over tucked? Right here's where the front of his feet should be, and right here's where they actually are. So if you have to get the arch in his back and the depth to look exactly right, if you have to over tuck like that, chances are you've got they're too long. More than likely right here in the midsection they're a little long in body, but you can't fix everything at once, okay? But we're improving, and this little guy I really want to see, because I've got a really nice blue back here. Taffy is really nice, and he carries blue that he gets from Iris, and that's just that's really important, and that's why we kept him. He was the only buck in that one litter, and I'm happy with him, and so chances are we probably won't breed Tag and Iris anymore. And if he grows up and continues to mature out the way I think that he will, it may be that we just might consider letting somebody else get Tag along and let him help them with their program, because we've got him and the black that I kept that I'll show you. I've got another black buck, a younger one than this. In fact, sis, if you wanna get him, we can just swap.
Okay, which cage?
He's the one in this first cage to the right, inside that. And so we've got this guy, and I've got another. Like I said, I've got another tag-along buck in there, a black one. And I'll have to see where he comes from, because I'll probably be leaning more toward holding on to this one, because I know this one will throw blue. The other buck in here, I kept him because I may show him this fall, and he was the nicest one out of all the bucks. And he may not be as nice as I like. I might not even keep him, but I had narrowed it down to one. Now this one here goes in the center.
There's that one.
You can see this guy here, his fur's a lot nicer. He hasn't been getting sprayed as much. But this is a baby tag-along right here. Now, this guy is a much nicer in type. Okay? Now see how we've got his toes right where they're supposed to be? See there? But see how nice and deep his top line is? Okay? See? Good shoulders. See these good shoulders? Nice high, and he rounded. He peaks up here, peaks right up here, right above those toes, and he's nice and round down to his tail. He's not pinched, okay? He's not pinched around the back, and he is just a really, really nice buck. And he's nice and full along the loin here. See right in here? See these sunk in places? He's not bad, but really you want to see that a little more filled out. but he's better than the other one that I showed you. So now the difference is, let's see who we got here. Okay. Okay, this is a Tag and Hershey buck. Now this rabbit, do you see how big this rabbit is? This rabbit is 2 months. 2 months younger than the one I just showed you. Okay, so he's gonna, he's gonna be a lot bigger buck. And actually, he should be April. Let's see, April, May, June, July. He's getting pretty close to full grown. If he's not, they will continue to grow a little bit. He got something stuck on it further. They will continue to grow a little bit until they are. I'll get it right here in a minute. They'll continue to grow until they're, I guess, around 6 months old, but they don't usually get a lot heavier, Usually after 4 or 5 months old, rather than getting heavier, they'll just start maturing. They'll get better. They'll stay the same size, but I want you to look at this, okay? 3 months old, and I want you to look at this fur, okay? Nice and dense. Okay, this is baby fur still. Okay, he's still got baby fur, but look at it. Okay, you put a mature coat on this guy, and I don't know if you guys can see it. If you don't look at a lot of mini Rex, I look at a lot of mini Rex, so I don't know if you can see it if you don't. But here's the thing, okay? This is the kind of stuff that just kind of. Did that come out of my rabbitry? We stand back and we look. We just take turns saying, wow. Okay? Yeah. It's not perfect. If you've got if it was a perfect rabbit, it probably would have got sick and died at 8 weeks old. That's the way it goes. Just like when we lose 2 beautiful red does out of Marcy at 8 weeks old. They just get out of the cage and it's one of those things. Still haven't recovered real well from that one, but yeah, I want to see more depth. The chocolate that I showed you, the chocolate doe, in proportion to the rest of her body and her width, the chocolate has a lot better depth and balance. Remember this depth. You want it to balance with the width. And right now, he's just a tad wide. But unlike the one that I just showed you, he's still got a lot of growing to do. Hope he don't grow a whole lot, because he should be getting close to senior weight, even though he's still a tad young. But I don't want him to get too heavy. If he gets too heavy, well, he could be a brood buck, but that's all he could do. We want something we can show. Alright? But between this guy and the one that I just showed you, they're both being bucks, I think there's a good chance that we might can let somebody else that can use him get a hold of Tag Along, because I'm going to tell you what, he's the kind of bunny that can make a big improvement in your bloodline. I wish he was a blue carrier. If he was a blue carrier, I probably would just hang on to him. But I've got the one over there that's a blue carrier, and this guy being out of Hershey, he could be, but we'll have to do some test breeding to confirm it. Whereas with the other one that we just showed you, we know he's carrying blue. But yeah, he's pooping all over the place. Yuck. Bad manners. You bad-mannered bunny. Yep, you need to trim too. Believe it or not, we have trimmed the nails on about 20-something rabbits in the last 3 or 4 days, and it seems like today for this video, every single one that I picked up and handed to you still needs its nails trimmed. So yeah, it's an ongoing job, because about the time you get everybody here, you can now get me one or both of those black does out of where that chocolate was. Oh, where the chocolate is. It's a never-ending job clipping nails. Sometimes people come up here and want to look at a rabbit, and I'm just like, because you think, you want somebody you want somebody to come up to your rabbitry, and you know, when they're looking at rabbits, and you want them to see rabbits at their best, but it just can't be. You know, most of the time, that's what you'll see. Like I say, we just got a break in the weather. I mean, and it has just been super nice these last couple of days. And the rabbits are enjoying it. I'm sitting here and I'm looking around at rabbits, and they're not laying there panting like they're, you know. Well, I've got doe rabbits here that don't look like they're in labor every single day.